really great sale, a white sale. I'm gonna give these boring white skirts a new life, a real fashion evolution coming up. Hi, Chanel here. Another edition for your So Chanel fashion playlist, bringing you tips, tools, and techniques for your fashion evolutions. So if you're new here, join us for your fashion inspirations. I have 4 identical white cotton skirts that I made just for myself, although they don't fit me. Now that I think about it, probably should have made them to fit me. I wanted to do a challenge for some of my students. So I have this book called, what's it called? Customize Your Clothes. And I've had it for years. And it has all these great techniques in here about how to do some like bead work. So I've done that before. Appliques. But there's like batik in there, how to batik fabric, how to tie-dye. I have never tie-dyed. I've been doing fashion design forever and never have done it. Dip dye, block printing, stencil printing, marbling, all that kind of fun stuff. So I thought I'm gonna try some techniques on a basic white skirt and see how I can make each one look different. So I'm gonna dive into these. I have photocopied some of my favorite ones, and now I gotta get a list of all my needs. Like, gonna have to probably get on Amazon and check out some of these things like acrylic paint, Marbo gum, I don't know what that is, alum, don't know what that is. But I'm gonna find out because there's a thing called Google, and I'm gonna make this happen. So also what really inspires me is not only just to do that, but I love trims. So I went through my trim stash and I found some cool trims. I have like this Rhode one. I used to do a line called Race City Kids Couture, and it was in, I live in NASCAR country now, and I have all these leftover trims that are so cute, and I thought these would be really great along the yoke, and making like a belt out of them using this little buckle, and maybe doing some belts with buckles up on the sides, or who knows, maybe I could do a whole design with this ribbon all the way through, like a road all the way through. That'd be kind of cool. Oh my gosh. Then I even found this trim. I've had this for a while, and this one's kind of too square to go on a circle skirt, but then I thought, what if I trim some of these edges off here and kind of mold it around here, and then I don't know, maybe I do something with navy and white dyes and blend all this in, so something like that. And then I have all these stars. These are those little studs that go in, and I could put them all over the thing depending on the dye that I use. And I have some lace, just real pretty black lace. I could put that all over, just along the hem. I can do borders on the hem. So many choices. I even have little puff balls that I thought if I do a really multicolored print one, I can actually hide these in the texture in there, and I don't know, maybe even put them on first and then dye it. I don't know, there's so many choices. So I have all the scraps left over from making these that I'm gonna test things on first, because these were pretty easy to make, but I just don't really want to keep making a whole bunch of them, but I'm gonna test them first and then see what I come up with. Oh, there's this other one I'm pretty sure I'm gonna use, because I took this off of a tank top that I had years ago. It's from Free People. I have the little label, and the tank top was brown and it was part wool, and I got a lot of little moth holes in it. So the reason I bought it, it was a simple tank top, is because of this trim. So I thought, what if I now use it on one of these skirts? The problem is I'm gonna have to make a bigger one because I am going to want to wear this. Didn't think of that. So I'm probably gonna do that first because because I have a great idea. And it all came from this trim that I've had in a little baggie for probably 20 years. So I'm gonna start practicing on this, and I'll let you know how I do. So it's been a few days, and I got some of my skirts done. One did not turn out so good, but the other two, I think I got something. They're not exactly what I envisioned, but it was pretty cool. So the first one I did was a tie-dye one, and this is how my skirt showed up. This is kind of how I wanted it to show up. So a little different. I was expecting a little more whiter in there, and I wanted it darker. I was envisioning blues and blacks, but I tend to do a lot of blue and black, so I kind of was open to some more colors. I was trying to throw in some pink here, which I got in the sample. So I did a lot of samples, and I used a spray paint tie-dye, and it was pretty fun, actually. And I got all these different samples. Thing with painting fabrics and tie-dyes, you never really know what you're going to get, because you might get something totally green and they mix up. But the rubber bands really tended to work, and when I left more white in it, it turned out fun. It was a really great experiment. Learned a lot from it, and I think it was successful. But this was the skirt. It turned out, I like it. I think now I've got to, kind of see how I'm going to jazz it up with what trims and all. So working on that one. Then the next one I did was the batik. And the batik was, let's see, I had a sample of that. That's where you put the wax on, you paint on a design, and then you dip it in dye. And I actually used the spray paint dye on. Actually, I used the brown, I got a brown dye because I wanted to use that trim that I found, and I wanted to get pinks and browns in here. I did get it, but it wasn't exactly what I thought, but I like it. I found this really great flower template and painted the wax on it, and then you soak up the wax with newspaper and an iron, and it's pretty cool, the design that can come out of this. So I love the way the crackling looks. But now I gotta wash it and see about getting this greasy part out, and then see what I want to do with this trim. And I think it looks really pretty on there, so I gotta work on that one. So the batik looked good. This was one of my samples. I just played around it with green, and it had the white in it, and that looked pretty cool. So batik is definitely fun. I will definitely do it again, and it was good. My marbling one was the one that didn't show up, or didn't work out so good. I did 2 dye baths with it. The first one was cool, but it washed out when I rinsed it all out, and then I rinsed it with cool water, and it pretty much rinsed out. So I tried it again, and I did some different colors, and this was the sample. That looks pretty cool. That's what I was hoping for, and so I kind of got it. But what happened was, this is the skirt, like this, and you can see the print, it's pretty faint. I was hoping for a really much deeper colors, and this is the back side of it, and it tended to be on the borders of the skirt, because that's what went into the dye bath first, and it picks up the dye. But I think acrylic paints are not what to use. That's what the book said, to use acrylic paints, and then they were dyeing a canvas shoe, and it worked. But so I think I'm going to try it again for sure, and use a fabric paint or something, because it's a really cool technique. It's some ancient technique from Turkey, and I like it. So I'm going to work on that. I think I'm going to stencil. I found some really cool little letters, and do some words on it, and do some fabric paint, and do some stenciling on here, I think, on top of that, and kind of see if I can save that skirt. So we have one more skirt left, and I'm going to give that one to my intern, Sydney, and see what she can come up with. I'm going to loan her the book for a night, and see what we can come up with, and I'll introduce you to her. Well, I have Sydney here, and she is my intern at the Fashion Design School, and she's new to sewing and new to fabrics in general, and she's off to design school in the fall. And I thought, let's have Sydney take on the 4th skirt and see what she comes up with. So I'm going to be giving her this book tonight, and she's gonna flip through it, and then we're gonna pick this up tomorrow and see what she comes up with. So the skirt is yours, Sydney. You got any ideas?
Well, I'm gonna go home and look through my inspiration files and look through this book and see if I can find some really cool ideas to tackle.
Anything brewing yet?
I really like the tie-dye, but I have to find something new to do. So maybe something similar, colorful.
So I did give her an out. If she can't come up with something that she thinks she can tackle, she can do a whole nother version of tie-dye.
Yes.
I really wanted her to see a whole nother version. When you look through there, you're gonna go, oh, there's all kinds of things. So once you start looking through the inspiration files, things start to pop.
Yes.
That's
definitely
what I'm trying to get at. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Well, we are back, and Sydney spent the whole night thinking about what she's gonna do on her skirt. So what'd you come up with?
So I found this embossing technique, and it's embossing velvet with an iron to create like a really cool design.
It's like burning a design in the velvet.
Yes.
Right? What are you gonna do with it?
So I'm gonna do patches of the velvet with the embossment on it, and then tie-dye the rest of it purple.
So you're gonna do a tie-dye with purple and then black, and you have black velvet, right?
Yes, I do. Right
there.
Black velvet patches with the embossment on it.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Well, that's a good one. Okay, so you look through the book, and that's a good one. I didn't see that one.
Yes.
Kind of jealous. Anyway, we will get back to you when she gets that done, and we're gonna come up with some ideas to jazz up these skirts. Okay, Sydney and I have our thinking caps on. We've been up all night brainstorming, thinking about how we're gonna jazz up our skirts and make them all look unique. So we have come up with, we're gonna start with this, my favorite little skirt here. Actually, it's not my favorite. It might be by the end of this, but this is the tie-dye skirt, and I'm gonna make this into a galaxy style. So I started with the little silver nail heads here, and I'm gonna kind of scatter them all around. And then I found these cool rhinestones. They're like in a sagey green, and I'm gonna make those look like meteor showers. And then I found this, I have this trim. It's like a, what is this? Like some kind of, I don't know what it is, but you can, they came in four lines, and I cut off one. You just use like paper scissors, don't ruin your good shears. And I clip them off and made one single band, and then I made it into a little belt. And I have the little rhinestone belt buckle that looks so cute, and I made that look into a little belt. So I think I'm gonna like this skirt. Then the batik skirt, I hemmed it to where my little stars went, and then I also washed it, and the grease, the wax didn't, it came out, but it left a mark, which is actually part of the whole skirt. So I like it. But I found in my stash some of these rhinestone, they're in a star shape. They're almost pretty much the same shape as the batik stencil. And then I put my really pretty trim on here. So liking how that one's turning out too. I'm liking it. Then this is the marbled skirt. I didn't know how to save it. And then Sydney came up with a great idea. And she thought, because I wanted to stencil some words on it, so she was like, well, what kind of words do you want to put on it? And I was thinking like love, or I don't know, something like that. And then she thought, why don't we make it a fashion summer camp skirt and put it outside the studio to advertise our summer camps. She came up with the idea of putting future fashion designers, stenciling them on, and then a t-shirt up here that's going to say fashion summer camps, and then we're going to put the marabou on it and put it outside the studio, and
add balloons and everything.
Idea. Yeah, I love this. So how are you going to tackle that skirt?
So we have these little stencils, and what you do is they're self-stick, and you just peel them on, stick them on, and then use this fabric spray paint, and it's purple, so I think it'll look great.
Yeah, just spray them like that, cover them up, and then get your letters in there.
Yep.
Oh, and then what's that pretty trim that's on there?
This pretty trim, it also almost looks like cotton candy. And it's just like a little fringe.
The fringe. So that will go all the way around the hem.
All the way around the hem.
That's going to be really cute.
Yeah.
Okay. And then this was your skirt with your idea you had to do, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you got there?
So my project was the embossing velvet. So basically what I did is I took the rubber stamp and then covered the velvet over it and then wet the velvet and then basically like burnt,
Like steamed
crushed
it.
Yeah, crushed the fabric down and it created like a really pretty flower.
Wow.
Little embossment on it. And then I placed them all over the skirt and then I'm gonna add the trim in between each one to kind of connect them all.
Great. So add that pretty lace to connect them. I love it. And then the
Yes.
patches are in different shapes.
Yes, they are.
Nice. That's gonna
Yeah.
be cool. Okay, and then you're gonna shorten it pretty good.
Yes,
Probably a
I
good
am.
amount because the kids like shorter skirts. So.
Yes.
Well, cool. So we are gonna finish these up, and then we're gonna show you the big reveal and see the finished product. So we'll be right back. Well, we're back, and we have completed our challenge. Last week, these skirts were 4 white, boring skirts, and today they have personality. They all got their own customized technique, and I love doing this project. It was like really eye-opening to kind of see what you can come up with and how you can change things around. So we have the tie-dye skirt right here, and I had Sydney finish all these. I had her hem them and stuff. I thought it'd be good to get her used to hemming stuff. So it's a twofold project. And so she hot glue gunned some rhinestones on here, made it into a universe. And I really love the little, is that a moon or sun?
Sun, yeah.
And then we put that belt on it. It was really cute. So that one turned out great. And then my favorite one is the batik one. And that's the one I'm going to make for myself. I'm going to redo it. I have to make it bigger, a lot bigger. And then I'm going to use the trim. I'm going to take the trim off there and make my own skirt out of it. But that was the batik. And I loved how that turned out.
So cute.
Just, you like paint wax on it, and then you
Cool.
then you put it in dye, and then crinkle it all up, and then wash it, and then it's so cool. Actually, you have to iron it all before. I showed you guys all that, but and then Sydney, you have that other one with the
This is the embossing.
embossed one, and she added the lace around it, made it a little more unique. And then this one we had a little problem with. Sydney was trying to stencil it.
Yeah, didn't work out very well.
Didn't work out good. But
I had
then,
to improvise after
but
that.
she improvised. She actually just painted on the letters with the paint, and we turned it into an advertising skirt to put in front of the studio for it says future fashion designers on it. So that's was a really fun project. So I challenge you to, even if you don't make a skirt and do it that, just get some swatches and try these techniques. So there's this book that I love, Customize Your Clothes, and it has, you can see, I have so many more techniques that I want to try, and all you have to do is just try it. Try one a week and just kind of see, which one's your favorite. I know I'm going to definitely be doing the batik one again, and I did love the tie-dye. So me too. I'm going to do that. Which one are you going to do next?
I really like the tie-dye. I love the galaxy. That's
It was
my favorite.
so easy.
It really was.
I wish I would have tried them years ago. I also want to try the dip dye one, where you dip the different tones, like kind of shades up. I know when I worked on a movie a long time ago, Without a Paddle, Nature's Calling, my assistants did it. We had a plain white skirt and they dip dyed it, and I was like, that's pretty cool. So I didn't have to do it, but it was, now I want to do it. So challenge to you is to give this a try and see what you come up with and unlock your creativity. See you next time.